Okay, Gareth, I just want to ask you a few more questions. Obviously, we're FightHype and we're based stateside, so I want to ask you some stateside questions. First of all, the same Saturday of the Dillian Whyte fight, we see Manny Pacquiao face Keith Thurman. Give me your take on that fight. Who wins that fight?
I think Keith Thurman wins on points.
Okay.
First of all, instinctively I went for a Thurman knockout, but then I looked at Thurman's style. Manny comes forward at the age of 40 in his 71st fight. He's not as aggressive as he used to be. He'll fight in bursts. I think Thurman will outbox him. I think Thurman's best performance was against Sean Porter. Very good against Danny Garcia as well. And he used his jab in that fight and he timed Danny Garcia. And against Sean Porter, he timed him in an advancing way. So I think it suits Thurman this fight. He's 10 years younger. He's a very good jabber. He is hit himself as well. He's not waterproof. He's not impermeable in terms of his defensive style when he's fighting himself. I don't think he'll get involved in a tear-up. He's saying he's going to knock Pacquiao out, but he doesn't fight that way. He hasn't really knocked people out at world level for 3 or 4 years. He's got one stoppage there, but he boxes people, and I think it'll be a very fascinating 12-round boxing match that Thurman wins by majority or split points decision, even though we see him winning by many rounds.
Gareth, who do you say is the king of that 147-pound division? Because there's a lot of great fighters in there, but who would you say is the number one?
Well, I always go for a split draw between Terence Crawford and Errol Spence, so I'm a bit on the fence in terms of that, but I think I mean, common sense tells you that Errol Spence is the bigger man. He's the southpaw. He's very slick. They have a very close fight, him and Terence Crawford. It's definitely those two for me. But I think that, you know, I'll pick Errol Spence,
okay,
even though I want to pick Terence Crawford. But because he's come up from lightweight, I do think that that I'll go for Errol Spence. What do you think?
It's between them two, and it's very hard to pick. Gareth, you've been covering this sport for a very, very long time, and unfortunately yesterday we heard some really sad news, the passing away of Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker. Talk to me about his career. You know, I know you've been in boxing a long time and you've been watching them fights that people talk about now, like the De La Hoyas, even before that, Felix Trinidad's and before that. Talk to me about what sort of fighter he was and how great a fighter he was.
Well, I always say about Pernell Whitaker, if you line up the great pure boxers in history, certainly in American history at least, he sits between Sugar Ray Leonard and Floyd Mayweather as the supreme fighter. You know how good Sugar Ray Leonard was, one of the all-time greats. We know that Floyd Mayweather will go down as one of the all-time greats, when Pernell Whitaker was as good as either of those. And he follows a lineage there. He is the lineal champion of pure boxing in America between those two. In fact, I was around him recently in America. He looked well, to be honest. There's a quote I love from Kathy Duva. Of course, the Duvas both trained him, managed him, promoted him through a lot of his career, and she said he loved him and we loved him and he loved us, even though he was a nightmare to deal with outside the ring. He was a larger than life character. We know about his kind of proclivities, and you know, he liked to party hard, you know, with all kinds of substances. He's left us prematurely. Brilliant boxer, never got justice against Julio Cesar Chavez in that fight. And if you remember, I think Chavez, when it was 87-0 at that point, I think is right. So he deserved that victory at the Alamo Dome. Brilliant fighter. He's left us early. Major Hall of Fame boxer. So skilled defensively, and of course went on a little bit too long, so the defeats to the likes of Felix Trinidad and Oscar De La Hoya came very late in his career. So many fighters leave the sport, you know, fighting guys who are 8 to 10 years younger when they're just coming into their prime, so it kind of tarnished the end of his career. But brilliant fighter, defensively so savvy, but able to just stand in the pocket. I mean, in the way that if anyone wants to go and watch him, he could do what Lomachenko now does, which is stand in the pocket with people and move and sway and anticipate and read punches and time getting out of the way of punches, making them glance and not hit him, in the same way that Lomachenko now does as well.
Wow, that's big praise for somebody, for a lot of people nowadays who might have not seen Pernell Whitaker, but I've seen a lot of Lomachenko. So
exactly that kind of skill set, you know, just so comfortable. he was happiest in the ring. He had a troubled life in lots of ways, but so comfortable. One of those boxers who, like, if you're watching an event live or a fight night live and you've just watched a laboured 8-round fight, or two guys coming up just learning their trade, and then you in front of you is a Mayweather, or I never saw Sugar Ray Leonard, or a Pernell Whitaker, and you suddenly see the speed of everything they do. It's just extraordinary. And Lomachenko, again, case in point. It's just they inhabit a different level. They're born to it. They've got the skills, they do the work, but they just have an innate talent. They're very tough. They're from that background where they want to do it. They've got things to prove. Fighting is their therapy, it's their health treatment, it's their medicine, and he's just one of those.
Cool. Gareth, I've taken 15 minutes of your time. I want to thank you very much for talking to FightHype.com. And
15 minutes of fame on FightHype.com.
Thank you very much for talking to FightHype.com. I no doubt we'll speak to you very soon.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Cheers,
Thank
man.
you.